Man here. Y'all know how I get down. We talking boxing, man. So at this present time, man, given that it is now 12:01 a.m., we are this puts us about 4 days away from the big fight between Saul Canelo Alverez and Julio Ceasar Chavez Jr., man. You know, this is going to be a hell of a fight for as long as it lasts. I will say that. But let no mistake, be made about this. Canelo Alvarez is going to beat the dog crap out of Julio Ceasar Chavez Jr., man. Let's just call a spade, man. Everybody with these imaginary hoping, oh, Julio Ceasar Chavez Jr. can land a big punch. He can press Canelo. If you thinking in that form, man, if you thinking that's going to happen, you tripping. Ain't no way possible. The evidence ain't there. The history ain't there. Nothing about Julio Ceasar Chavez Jr. says anything about he can beat Canelo Alvarez. Period. I'm not going to sit here and make this a typical dog Julio Ceasar Chavez Jr. vid. I'm going to be honest, man. You take a real closer look at Chavez Jr. And you know that he came up privileged, given that his daddy was a legendary boxer. So he came up very privileged, but he also came up around the sport. The thing that hurt Chavez Jr. the most, in my opinion, is the fact that he never had an amateur career. He never had to build and learn his pedigree as much. He did it more so by being around his father, being in the gym, growing up in the gym, around the gym, and stuff like that. But he was always a wild kid and no amateur career. So now fast forward to him coming a pro. You even go back to his first title fight when he fought the dude Sebastian Beek. Y'all remember that fight? That was his first title fight. And the same way he fought in that fight back in like 2011 is the same way that he fights now. When he fought Sebastian Beek, that fight supposed to went down at what? Like 160, I believe, the middleweight division. This fool came in there on fight night at 180 pounds. Sebastian Beek came in there at 165 pounds. And that was the way it laid the foundation on the way that Chavez Jr. can win. Because that night, Sebastian Beek, in a lot of people's opinion, kind of was outboxing Chavez Jr. But the difference was Chavez Jr. was landing the harder, more stronger shots, right? Well, Chavez Jr. never stopped fighting like that, man. Everybody else he fought, even leading up to the Brian Vera fight, in that particular fight, which he had fought Brian Vera twice, a lot of people thought he lost the first fight against Brian Vera, punch-drunk Brian Vera. I mean, I ain't no disrespect, but come on, man. A lot of people thought he lost that fight in the first fight. He came back and he won the second fight, but it was more of a wider margin than the first fight. But that first fight, in which Brian Vera outlanded Chavez Jr. 8 of like the 10 rounds. And it by the CompuBox stats, it seems as if Brian Vera should have won. So a lot of people thought he got robbed of that, given the fact of who his name was, right? I mean, then the fact of the matter is the way stylistically he fought Sebastian Beek is the same way that he fought Brian Vera. And we're going to get on Chavez Jr.'s style because I want to see what it is about the kid that people think that can do anything with Canelo Alvarez. So, okay, he damn near loses to Brian Vera. He comes back and beat him in a rematch. Good for him. And then he takes on my main man, Sergio Martinez. Let's not forget about that fight first. Come on, man. And he gets beat for 11 straight rounds. And the claim to fame of Chavez Jr.'s career is the fact that he almost knocked out Sergio because he caught him in the final round. And most believe that that's the fight that took everything from Sergio, that made Sergio old overnight. That's what a lot of people think. And looking at Chavez Jr., given that he got a picture on his wall up in his crib, man, of when he knocked Sergio down, he believed heavy in that shit too. I mean, hey, that's his moment. That's his shining moment. That's his claim to fame. He wobbled Sergio Martinez after getting beat for 11 straight rounds. And then beaten beautifully. So, it was crazy, man. But fought the same way that he fought the last two fighters, his big fights, in Brian Vera and Sebastian's beat. He fought stylistically the exact same way. And you think of what he came in the night of that fight, 180 plus pounds. He was huge in there against Sergio Martinez. That's his MO. It's the only way he can win, as with the weight issue. It has to come down to weight. And he caught Sergio in that 12th round with a good shot. But look how big he was. And Sergio was much more leaner than Chavez Jr. that night, given he had to move. So, I mean, I'm just saying. So that's the MO of Chavez Jr. He has to be huge, and he has to be able to come in there and try to overpower you. Because skill-wise, hold on, one more, when he fought, he went up in weight because he couldn't really make the lower weight. He couldn't make middleweight no more. He really couldn't even really make 168. Many times he came in overweight in those fights, and look what he rehydrated to. But let's just say when he went up to at the catch weight of 172, I think it was. Let's say when he went up to that, and he tried to overpower Fonafar. And what happened? Fought the exact same style. The exact same style. Nothing changed with Chavez Jr. What it is with Chavez Jr. stylistically, what I keep talking about, is he fights the exact same goddamn way. He's a tall dude who tries to make himself fight short. He ducks his head down so low, he's target practice. He comes in, he's trying to come in aggressively. His head movement is piss poor, so his defense is mainly his face. Real talk. And this is crazy. He's just looking to get in close enough to throw some bombs and hope to hit you with something. Skill-wise, very, very low pedigree, in my opinion. And that's the name of his game. And he's able to get away with that, given he's coming in there much bigger than his previous opponents. Now, when it comes to Canelo, he ain't no different when it comes to weight. Canelo just as big as a weight bully as it gets. Mr. Canelo weight. Want to fight everybody at catch weights. But I think in a lot of aspects, and I never give Canelo credit for this, even though Canelo do what he do with the weights, and yes, he does get his advantages with that. But a lot of that is also, just in Canelo's case, to prevent from fighting of the rules of these sanctioning bodies. And that's something that a lot of uploaders and commentators got to start saying, man, that when a lot of these fighters, I'm noticing now, when they fight at catch weights, I mean, at least I notice in Canelo's case, it's mainly to avoid dealing with the same rules that the sanctioning bodies set for fighting for their titles at their weight. That's the way these fighters are starting to look, at least the cash cows and the more popular fighters. Listening to Eddie Hearn the other night talk about Anthony Joshua, the superstar, super boxer that he's building over there. You know what I mean? He's saying that he may be bigger than belts. And I'm gonna do a separate vid about these fighters that's thinking they bigger than belts, and we're gonna get into that. But I'm just saying, man, weight-wise, Canelo ain't no different. But I think he does it more for that reason. But he ain't no goddamn different. He does it for advantages too. But in Chavez Jr.'s case, this is the only way that he wins. He don't win any other way. He can't win in there on skills. No fucking way at all against nobody. You know what I'm saying? It just ain't there. That ain't how he fights. Even since a youngster, he had no amateur pedigree. And when he comes into the Canelo fight, he's gonna fight the same way that he always fought. He's had the best trainers you can imagine. This dude done been with every top trainer. His father, man, has pulled some serious strings for him for the career of Chavez Jr. for his son. Real talk. I mean, be honest with you, we don't look at it as such, but Julio Ceasar Chavez Sr. should be given the award for the best manager of all time, because he have put his son in golden positions. I mean, golden, time after time. You know what I mean? And I mean, come on, look, it's kind of embarrassing the way it's looking, in my opinion. I mean, look at the type of he has yet, in my opinion, to really beat a top elite fighter. So he can't be considered that. 50 fights, I'll say 48 bombs. 50 wins, I'm going to say. 50 wins, 50 wins, 48 bombs. I mean, come on, Joe. This dude done been with every trainer. Freddie Roach, Robert Garcia. Now he's with Nacho, the legendary Nacho. Yeah, man. He's been with everybody, man. His father didn't pull major strings. Most of these trainers couldn't discipline him well enough because he comes from privilege. They can't discipline him. They can't get him to make weight in a lot of cases. Nacho wasn't playing with him. There was articles and talks about in this particular camp, Chavez Jr. wanted to walk away and go train at other places, or he had dentist appointments and all this crap that came out. Man, we all know that's just signs of there was some little bit of turmoil in that particular camp. That's just the way it is dealing with this kid. But his father then pulled some good strings for him to be with the best trainers. Now, Canelo Alvarez, man, let me be real, ain't showed no cracks in his game over the last, since losing to Mayweather. He hasn't showed one crack in his game. Even in the Laura fight, where a lot of people thought that Canelo struggled and could have lost, he still put up a very valiant, fucking close effort. You know what I'm saying? Either way you want to look at it, you know what I mean? And you see the progression of Canelo Alvarez, even how they're progressing through weight. I'm looking at Canelo, man, his size, it actually fits him well. And that's the crazy thing. Like, it fits on him. Like, it does. The only question is going to be is how does this added weight on Canelo going to affect his stamina rate? Because he's had criticisms in the past about his stamina rate. I'm going to tell y'all something, man. Another thing about Canelo, in my opinion, I thought he lost to Trout. I don't know how much I've even mentioned that in vids, but I thought he lost to Trout. And that was a very questionable win for Canelo Alvarez. But he still was in that fight. As opposed to Chavez Jr.'s, in his debatable fights, to me, they were way different in favor of his opponents. Like, I thought Speak beat him. I thought Vera beat him in the first fight. Like, those wasn't debatables there. You know what I mean? He lost to Fonafar. He lost to Sergio. You know what I mean? Like, they set him up with some fight down in Mexico with some unknown dude. You know, so I mean, they gotta, and then he's back in a big title fight with Canelo. Canelo see the bag in it, man. Period. He gonna con so many Mexicans on this fight that, hey, he gonna cash in with it, and it's all good. But the fact is, skill-wise, we see the progression of Canelo. We see him getting better. We see him beating high-level opposition. No signal whatsoever why anybody should get this fight to Chavez Jr. And so, like they saying, if you a betting man, it's better to put your money on Chavez Jr. because, I mean, he does have I guess out of the 100%, he has that. I'll give it a 90. If Canelo wins, in my mind, 98.5. So you got 1.5% favor, in my opinion, that Chavez Jr. And out of that may make you a lot of money. That's all I'm saying. Look at the odds for this fight. But I don't see Chavez Jr. winning this fight any shape, form, or fashion. He'll make himself short. He'll fight short. He won't fight long like he needs to for his height. He won't come in there. His footwork, man, has been sloppy in the past, in my opinion. Only time he looks decent and well on balance is when he's coming forward. But he gets hit coming forward. He gets hit coming backwards. It's like, damn, Joe. Like, what does he does well other than just getting close to you and landing big, heavy punches? But other than that, and also one thing, I give him heart. He has good heart. He has a lot of heart. He fights his heart out. It's just that he's limited, and that's just who he is as a fighter, in my opinion. You know what I mean? So I'm going to go, if I had to do a prediction, I might as well get it out the way and do it now. I'm going to go with Canelo Alvarez by stoppage. I'll give it up to about round 8. I think Canelo, they stopped the fight by round 8. I think at that point, Chavez Jr. would have expended so much trying to land that one big shot and he may, you know, it's not far-fetched, I guess, if to say that Chavez Jr. can't hurt Canelo at points in this fight. The possibility is there. Will it happen? I don't think so, but I think the possibility, it can happen. Chavez Jr. has good power, man. So if he does hit you with one of those shots that he's loading up, or once he gets close and he throws a combination, which he does very well also, and he's a good body puncher. A lot of people think if he can wear Canelo down, put his weight on Canelo, because now when it comes down to weight, let me just say, both fighters, I'm expecting to be heavy. This ain't even going to be whatever the fight. This is have a catch weight of, what are we talking about, 164.5? Man, look, man, this Chavez Jr. is going to be a dead man on the scales. Chavez Jr. can't even make the 168 weight limit. You going to then take him to 164.5, and every pound he come in overweight, that's $1 million penalty? Slim, this is, hey, Canelo straight bossed Chavez Jr. Son of a legend got straight sunned easy on this particular fight. $1 million $1 million every pound that Chavez Jr. coming overweight. Talk about a disciplinarian, man. Man, look, Golden Boy and Canelo is going to make a boatload of money off this fight. They're going to cash in on Chavez Jr. Man, Chavez Sr., man, they all getting paid off this fight, man, period, point blank. But Canelo going to punish Chavez Jr. And I think it's going Canelo's ego as a fighter, beating the son of Julio Ceasar Chavez, the number one, a lot of people consider number one Mexican fighter damn near of all time. I know Salvador Sanchez and all that, there's an argument there. But I'm just saying, what a lot of people consider, and then you can beat his son, and Canelo, who he's trying to be as a Mexican fighter, that's what makes this thing exciting. But it's still going to be a slaughter. Canelo too skilled, too strong, too big. Chavez Jr. is going to take a lot of hard shots. I think Canelo, once he's going to catch him so much coming in, and the power of Canelo is going to be, it's going to be there's a couple unknowns in this fight. The power of Canelo should be increased, but what will the stamina level and conditioning of Canelo looks like, especially if Chavez Jr. can land some of that good body work if he gets in close. But he's going to be taking so many shots, and he's going to be ducking down, catching uppercuts. It's just gonna be a slaughtering out, in my opinion. I think he's gonna get beat up real bad. 8th round stoppage is my prediction. I've ran my mouth too much about this fight. I'm saved all I had about this fight till now because I haven't talked about this joint, man, in a minute, because I ain't really had much to say. I told y'all, man, I think Chavez Jr. just gonna get punished. The weight is such a main thing in this fight. Where Chavez Jr. in the past has came in overweight at times, or he's came in, he's rehydrated so big, and they don't have, I don't think, a rehydration clause for this fight, but that's gonna favor both fighters because Canelo likes to fight heavy also. It's said that when Canelo fought Floyd, I mean, how much did he rehydrate back up to, or was there a clause? No, I think he rehydrated back up to, they said, damn near 165 pounds. So I mean, he likes the heavier weights too, and he uses it well, and he's now not having to cut weight as hard. I think this helps Canelo, and I'm telling you, man, the person that should be watching this more than anything is Gennady Golovkin, because Gennady Golovkin got to beware that Canelo is getting used to higher weights, and that should be a concern because that loses Gennady Golovkin's edge fight by fight, and on top of that, Gennady Golovkin is aging. But anyway, to the next video, Main Man Made Man. Don't forget to subscribe. Twitter, Made Man 511. Facebook, Main Man Made Man Boxing Forum. Google Plus, Main Man Made Man. I'd be surprised if Nacho can give me a different Chavez Jr. We just seen a different Vladimir Klitschko, so who fucking knows? Maybe we'll get a different Julio Ceasar Chavez Jr. But I seriously doubt it, man. I seriously doubt it. I think Canelo by stoppage. Oh man, I mean Chavez Jr. Man, I think he's gonna show a lot of heart in this fight too. I mean, I don't think he goes down easy. I think Canelo is going to have to work for it because Chavez Jr. is going to be willing to take a lot of punches and just to get, to get in there to land his shots. But how many punches can he take? Anyway, to the next video. Peace out.